Hey guys, Hidden Azeroth here, and this week we're heading back in time to the Culling of Stratholme and exploring how the dungeon looks beyond its invisible boundaries. We're going to be using the same escape method we used in our last video, so you'll need a balanced druid with a wild charge and force of nature talents. Simply run up to one of the invisible walls, use force of nature to summon free treants behind it, and use wild charge to pull yourself to them. Like so. The first thing we come across is a small tunnel. While this tunnel can be found on live, the stones are grey rather than orange, and a mountain intersects the back, preventing us from returning through it. Previously, a heavy fog prevented us from seeing anything outside of the invisible boundaries. However, that fog was removed in Legion. Because of this, several areas appear to be in ruins, despite the zone having supposedly not fallen to the Scourge yet. Like in Naxxramas, because the ground has not been lowered to allow for a basement, you can't actually go into the basement of the inn. Ironically, on the live version of the zone, Plaguewood Tower has been repaired by the Crusade. On live, this house is in ruins, and a plague spire can be found beside it. This camp serves as a Crusade quest hub, but is unchanged. This path should lead to Eastwall Tower, but the terrain abruptly drops downwards and the tower is missing. Following the terrain shift, we come across sections of Northdale floating in midair. A majority of the town is missing, but two buildings can still be found. Despite extending over the edge of a terrain boundary, we can fully enter this building, because unlike most instance boundaries, rather than there being an invisible wall, a section of unmapped area continues to extend past the terrain. The buildings found around the entrance to Zul'Mashar are still present, but the larger temple is missing. Following the road northwards, we come across the portal that leads to Thalassian Pass and the Ghostlands. An untextured rectangular object extends beyond the terrain just through the portal. North Pass Tower is missing its Crusade banners. The Quel'Lithian Lodge appears as it does on live. The Stratholme service entrance gate is interactable, and the music shifts as we enter the portcullis. The instance portal has an invisible wall behind it, preventing us from going any further. However, there is still a way to get into the Elder Square, which I'll show you now. Travel along the mountain range approaching the front gate of Stratholme. Make sure to stay close or you can accidentally pass outside of the invisible boundary. From here, we're going to be using Force of Nature and Wild Charge to climb up the side of a mountain. Because Force of Nature has a 1-minute cooldown, I've edited the footage to appear faster. From here, check your minimap and make sure you're facing the small black circle just ahead. Shift into travel form, use a slow fall potion like the filled festive mug, and run forward. The city of Stratholme won't render until you're actually inside it, so be ready to cancel and reapply slow fall once you see Elder's Square. While you never actually enter Elder's Square in the Culling of Stratholme, you can see it blockaded by wagons from the main city. Unlike in the Stratholme service entrance dungeon, the chapel door is shut and cannot be entered. Because this section of the city was never meant to be explored by players, the service entrance portcullis, which should lead to the portal we saw earlier, leads nowhere. Similarly, the opposite portcullis, which normally leads to the rest of the dungeon, is also vacant. The Culling of Stratholme has always been one of my favorite events in Warcraft history, and it's fascinating to see how the city looked before it fell to the Scourge. So whether you're an avid explorer, or you're just trying to decide whether or not Arthas is your king, or you're still his superior as a paladin, the eastern Plaguelands and the Culling of Stratholme are well worth a visit. And as always, thanks for watching.